Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here, as they still get situated on the 3rd of February, 2020, to talk about everything that went down tonight on both AEW Dynamite / Beach Break and NXT on the USA Network. Change one setting here really fast. Boom, make the stream look a little better. And here we go. We are here talking about Beach Break. We are here talking about Dynamite. I thought both shows were. I liked NXT better. So here's the thing. From the start to the main event of both shows, I liked NXT better. Then I thought both shows were about the same for the main events. But then when Kenta came out and shocked everybody, I was like, oh boy, that was good. But based off of that, if I had to say what show I liked better overall, I guess I would have to say I liked NXT better than AEW. And tonight's AEW is supposed to be a big special show. But honestly, till that main event, it felt like just an average episode of Dynamite, to be completely honest. But as Ravens 1983 says in the Twitch chat, Kenta was a big surprise. Yes, he was. Also, we got the poll going up on Twitch. Let me know what you thought of Dynamite. We'll throw that poll up as well here on YouTube for you guys. I liked it. Oops, that didn't work. It's right. All right, let me know on both Twitch and YouTube what you thought of tonight's Dynamite. Did you like it? Was it all right? Or was it just you didn't really care for it, you didn't like it? Polls are created on both. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are here on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either with a donation down below, or you can be like Ruben in the Twitch chat with that Twitch bit. Really do appreciate that. You can donate Twitch bits, or you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe at a tier 1 subscription or whatever, the tiered subscription, or you can subscribe for free if you're already paying Amazon for Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. With Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I would greatly appreciate it if you use that one subscription on us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching us over there on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways as well, either by becoming a channel member, hitting that join button down below, or by submitting a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chat donations do get read live on the air. And remember, if you become a channel member, it's just like becoming a member of our Patreon, where you will get early access to news, non-news videos, and some other cool things I got coming up as far as it pertains to graphics that I do for the PW Unlimited YouTube channel. But with that, guys, we got some shows to talk about. And as we always do, we're going to kick it off with AEW Dynamite. And if you want to also let me know what you thought of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341, as the number is in the live chat on both YouTube and Twitch, and it'll be scrolling right down here periodically throughout the show. But with that, start with Dynamite. Dynamite immediately kicked the show off with the Battle Royal. And this was honestly the only thing I liked on this show before the main event. Everything else I thought was just, okay, whatever. So one of the big stories of this Battle Royal was that FTR was not allowed to be in the Battle Royal. They had actually been suspended for 1 week due to their actions after the Dax Harwood Jungle Boy match last week. In their place would be the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver, and they let John Silver go out there and look good. But this fucking Battle Royal started like a damn TNA match. They did the reverse Battle Royal to start. Everybody comes down to the ring, but doesn't get in the ring. They're surrounding the ring like they're fucking lumberjacks or something. And then the Young Bucks come down and they go, hey, let's do dives. And so they dive on everybody. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't really care for that part of this match. But once everybody finally got into the ring, because it took a minute or two, the match started to get good. So the Bucks jump on the other 9 teams at ringside as they make their entrance. And then everyone starts brawling around ringside. Finally, the Bucks get into the ring. They super kick a couple guys. I think Isaiah Cassidy missed a big dive or something to the outside. And then it's like 4 guys at a time in the ring, and then they get out. And then 4 more guys jump in. And then finally everyone just goes, screw it. This is a battle royal, not a lumberjack match where we fight outside. And so, yeah, I didn't know what that start was supposed to be. But right from the start, I go, oh, crap. They're trying to do tricky shit, and they're trying to do too much. Anyways, the match moves on as Dante Martin was eliminated by Private Party early. Jake Hager was, I guess you could say, duped by the Dark Order and technically eliminated by Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Stu Grayson had a good showing here. Matt Jackson was backdropped onto the ramp. And here's my question. So you get thrown out of the ring, you're eliminated, both feet hit the floor. But what about that ramp that's butted up against the ring? Like, say this is the ring right here. Here's the ramp. There was a spot where Matt Jackson was thrown over the ropes, but technically he still landed on the apron of the ring and slid right back into the ring under the bottom rope. So that counted. But the big thing was, what if he would have fell 1 inch back and his foot would have hit the ramp? Would he have been eliminated, or would they would have gone, whatever, let him be? So I don't know. But eventually, Matt Jackson was backdropped onto that ramp and eliminated. But again, like I said, he was backdropped over and saved himself once. Happened again, didn't save himself that time. Jericho and MJF eliminated Anthony Bowens. Luchasaurus got a showcase spot where he knocked down half of the field with strikes. Grayson tried to suplex Luchasaurus over the top, but Luchasaurus suplexed him onto Bowens before being eliminated by the Dark Order. MJF would then toss Evil Uno out. Darius Martin blocked Private Party's silly string and eliminated Quinn. Silver suplexed both Santana and Ortiz, but he celebrated a little too early and then got eliminated himself. Nick Jackson ran wild on Santana and Ortiz and tossed out Santana before eliminating Ortiz with a super kick. Cassidy and Nick Jackson had a nice exchange here, but Gallows and Anderson would appear and eliminated Cassidy by pulling down the rope. Nick exchanged words with the Good Brothers, and MJF took advantage and dumped Nick. Both Bucks gone. To the left was Jericho, MJF, Guevara, Jungle Boy, Darius, and Max Caster. Final 6. Each Inner Circle member wrestled one-on-one with one another, or one of the other 3. The Inner Circle worked together to eliminate Jungle Boy, but the other 2 wrestlers broke it up, and MJF then eliminated Jungle Boy himself. MJF and Guevara faced off, but Caster attacked both, and Caster held MJF up for an attack from Guevara, but MJF avoided a super kick. Caster took it and was eliminated. Then Caster also eliminated MJF. Darius was eliminated as well. So the final 3 come down to Jericho, Guevara, and Darius. So they're playing this up like, oh my God, the sex gods, or they're working together. But what if it comes down to those 2? What's going to happen? Because they're on opposite teams in this match. And so the sex gods do work together against Darius, but Darius downed them with a double DDT. Darius nearly eliminated Guevara, but Jericho tried to eliminate Darius, inadvertently dumping Sammy. So Sammy was eliminated technically by Jericho. Darius would then down Jericho with a drop kick, but was sent onto the apron and eliminated with a Judas effect. Jericho and MJF are now the new number 1 contenders. Jericho and MJF will now be challenging the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships at the pay-per-view Revolution on March 7th. And they played it up where Jericho and MJF are celebrating. Sammy Guevara kind of walks up the ramp, looks over, and he's like, oh, fuck them, and just leaves. So, out the babyface side, too. Well, all Inner Circle comes out the babyface side. Anyways. So, there's dissension because they played this up even more later. Edwin Pereira, I'm a Chevy guy, so don't ask me about that Ford. Going forward, we got a video package hyping up Jade Cargill. Basically, they just showed her in, I guess you could say, a bikini, working out. They tried to show us, hey, she's got a good-looking physique. But other than that, we don't know anything that Jade can do. We don't even know if she can take a bump, to be completely honest. And she's going to wrestle in 2 weeks. No. 1 month, 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks she's going to wrestle. She's going to wrestle in 4 weeks. And probably have to wrestle a good majority of that damn match. Thank you, Cold Cuts, for the $100, or the 100 bits. Really do appreciate that. Give me 1 second. I need to check something on the YouTube feed. Give me 2 seconds, guys. For some reason, it looks weird, which it shouldn't. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. There's something weird going on with the YouTube feed. If you're watching on YouTube, let me know if it looks like it's zoomed in and you're only getting like a quarter of the screen. That's very weird, and I don't know why it would do that, and honestly how to fix that. But I want to double check. I'm going to pull it up on my phone here just to see, which is very weird. Before we get back to this, we talk about Darby Allin and Sting's interview with old Tony Schiavone. No, it looks fine on regular YouTube. Okay, that's weird that the preview I'm seeing in the YouTube dashboard is all messed up. But as long as it looks good for you guys watching, we're all good. Tony Schiavone's in the ring. Jim Ross says, I'm sending it to a man with a good head of hair. Tony Schiavone. So, he lets us know, Tony that is, that next week Darby Allin will be defending the TNT Championship against Joey Janela. Before Darby and Sting can really say too much, we had Team Taz interrupt. And here's the stupid thing about this. Taz says, oh yeah, we can't come in there and do anything because we're banned from being inside the building. But they can get a mic? Who the fuck gave them a mic? Like they got someone working on the inside for them that brought them out a mic? Oh, we're banned from being in the building, but we could still talk on the show. That made no sense. Anyways, basically they said that they would be watching the TNT title match next week, and Ricky Starks said, I'll be there. I'll be there. Starks also stated that when he looks in Sting's eyes, he doesn't see an icon anymore. He said Sting would get hurt playing in their jungle and wished Allin good luck because he's going to need it. So Sting says, oh, you don't see an icon? Maybe you need to look in these eyes a little closer. I'll be here next week as well to make sure that Darby's title defense is one-on-one and nobody gets involved. If Starks doesn't see the icon, look closer into my eyes. And then Sting left. And Darby left. And that was it. So it's like, okay. I'm really not impressed with a single damn thing they've done with Sting or he's said. I'm kind of bored every time I see Sting. Because I go, oh, he's going to cut some promo. It's going to last 30 seconds. And then he's going to go to the back. Like, they've done dog shit, nothing with Sting. And who knows how limited he's going to be in that damn street fight come March 7th. So we get a video package recapping and hyping up the next match, Thunder Rosa versus Brit Baker. And that's what we got here. A pretty good match against, with Brit Baker and Thunder Rosa. And I got to say right now, Brit Baker needs to either find a new way to do that lockjaw or just not do it with the glove. Because her and Reba, or Rebel, they just wasted so much time with her trying to get the glove on and it not wanting to go on. Like, they need to get something that's easier. Because if that glove's... Because it's a freaking surgical glove. It's a latex glove. If that glove is wrinkled up or, bunched up at all, then she's going to struggle to get it on like she did tonight. This is like the second time I think I've seen her struggle to put the glove on. And it's like, okay, yeah, she's done it a lot, and this is only the second time it's happened. But if it keeps happening, then we got a problem. So maybe they got to figure something else out. But Rosa attacked Rebel before the bell, but Baker immediately went for the lockjaw. Rosa rolled out of the ring, or rolled out and landed a short drop kick. She followed this up by laying in some strikes in the corner on Baker. At one point, a flipping senton from Rosa got a 2, so Rosa kept up the offense. Baker moved out of the way of a corner attack and landed a pump kick. She maintained control on the floor and taunted Thunder Rosa, but Rosa drove Baker into the apron and the barricade, leading to a commercial break. Baker regained control during the break when Rosa went into the ring to break the count. Battled on the ramp when Rosa hit a Death Valley driver. Back in the ring, Rosa landed a jumping clothesline, double knees, and a corner drop kick to only get a 2. Rosa then went for her finish, but Britt Baker rolled out of it and hit a sling blade and a thrust kick. She got 2 off of that as well. Britt Baker then basically just, I don't even know what was up here, but Baker fought out of a pile driver and attempted an air raid crash. And this is when we had the issue with the glove. You know, she couldn't get the glove on. Rebel's trying to help her for a second, whatever. She finally gets it on, but you can see that they're stalling for time. Like, and Rosa just got to lay there and be all kinds of knocked out. Then Rosa finally cradles out of the lockjaw, but Baker kept in the lockjaw for a while, and Rosa finally reached her foot onto the ropes to break it up, and then she suplexed her way out of it. Rosa then hit the Death Valley driver for a close fall. She applied an omoplata while Rebel pulled off the turnbuckle pad. Rosa let go of the hold to chase after Rebel. This is where things broke down. So Baker avoided a corner attack, and she sent Rosa face first into the turnbuckle, just knocking her the fuck out. Like Thunder Rosa was dead. Baker puts on the lockjaw, and she doesn't even tap. The ref just goes, she can't defend herself. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. And I go, oh. They're doing this finish where she gets knocked out and she loses because she can't defend herself. But she's going to come back and say, I never tapped. Britt, we need to fight again because you technically didn't beat me. We're doing this bullshit. This is a Monday Night Raw finish if I've ever fucking seen one. I'm going to say that right now. This match was good with the worst finish they could have gone with. The I lost but didn't technically lose finish. Are you fucking kidding me? I hate when they do this stuff. This is a Monday Night Raw finish like if I've ever seen one. This is just as bad. It's almost just as bad as that Bobby Lashley Riddle finish from Monday. Thank you, Cold Cuts, for the Tier 1 subscription on Twitch. Really do appreciate that. But I don't know. Then more ass-backwards booking, kind of last-minute matchmaking. So they say, last week, even though we never saw this last week, Matt Hardy talked with Hangman Page, Tony Schiavone, in Hardy's dressing room. Hardy said that they'd have great chemistry, but Page didn't want any partnerships or contracts. He said that he had no ulterior motives and proposed, hey, how about you and I team up to take on Chaos Theory, kind of to get some revenge for them ruining a Negative One's birthday, and then maybe you can get back in the good graces of the Dark Order. And my first thought was, hold up. This fucker turned down the Dark Order. And now we're supposed to think that he's upset by that and the Dark Order hates him? Now, if you watched BTE this week, they were doing the Dark Order sleepover. Anna Jay was there. She walks out of their little fort they made, and there's Hangman grabbing a bottle of Jack or something. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, and she's like, no, you leave now and don't let these boys see that you're here because you broke their hearts. Don't come around them anymore. Go. And it's like, okay. So Anna Jay's mad because the other guys are upset. I get that. But was Hangman really coming to the Dark Order's lair to say, no, I want to join you after all? I don't think so. He was just coming to get his fucking booze. But now they're playing it up like Matt Hardy thinks that the Dark Order's mad at Hangman and he needs to get back in their good graces. So they're going to take out the Chaos Theory this week. And then the whole, oh yeah, this happened last week thing. No, it fucking didn't. We didn't see anything like this happen last week. Because last week, basically, Hangman blew off Matt Hardy. So, in theory, with Hangman blowing off Matt Hardy, why would last week, technically after Hangman's match, would Hangman be in Matt's dressing room? None of this made sense. None of this made any sense whatsoever. Like, at all. This was dumb. And the match itself wasn't even all that good. It was a Hangman Page match that wasn't good, which is hard to say. Matt Hardy dominated early against Serpentico before tagging in Page. Page hit a running shooting star press for 2. Hardy hit a side effect, but Luther blind tagged in and beat down Hardy. Luther used his partner as a weapon, and Serpentico missed a swanton bomb at one point. Hardy reached Page for the hot tag. Page ran wild, hit a fallaway slam and a plancha, concluding with a spinebuster on Serpentico for a 2. Page wanted the buckshot lariat, but Luther pulled him off the apron. Luther then whiffed on a running cannonball. Just holy crap that out. Page then hit a buckshot on Serpentico. Matt Hardy tagged himself in and got the pinfall victory. Page looked very pissed and perplexed as Matt asked for a high five. None of this made sense at all. Which call, oh, hey, we booked out the show and we're timing it out and we've got like 8 minutes. What do we throw in there? Oh, okay, let's do a random match that makes no sense. This was dumb. I didn't like this at all. Going forward, though, we got some news on the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator Tournament. As we assumed, just like the men's tournament was, winner gets a title shot. So the winner will face Hikaru Shida. They didn't say win, but they will face Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. They said they said that the tournament will be taking place in the month of February. So I assume the title match is at Revolution. And they said half of the matches will be taking place in America. Half of the matches will be taking place in Japan. 16 women in total. The Japanese women, as far as competing in Japan, are as follows. Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, Veni, Emi Sakura, Ryo Mizunami, Mei Sugura, Rin Kadakura, Maki Itoi. Those are the ones from Japan. Then competing on the American side of things, Serena Deeb, Riho, which we know those two will be facing off in the first round, Dr. Britt Baker, Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Anna Jay, and Layla Hirsch. So, I don't know, and correct me in the comments below or in the live chat right now, are all these women on the Japan side of things Stardom women? Because I honestly don't know that, but if they are, that just furthers my theory I'm going to talk about later, that AEW is working with New Japan, because if these are all Stardom women and all these matches are taking place in Stardom, Stardom is owned by Bushiroad, the same company that owns New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's probably how all of this could have came together and all these sides are working together, but just saying. So we have the women's tournament. 16 women will battle in this tournament, and it looks like the American side winner will then end up facing the Japanese side winner, and the winner should, in theory, get a title shot on March 7th at AEW Revolution. Going forward, Chris Jericho and MJF were interviewed by Alex Marvez. MJF called him Alex Marquez. They talked about becoming the new number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And they went into the Dark Order, or not Dark Order, Inner Circle locker room. Sammy Guevara stood up and said, you know, you guys are the number one contenders, but everyone else lost. Jericho was like, whoa. Why are you so mad? When any of us win anything, we all win. And Sammy was kind of just like, no. And Jericho was like, come with me. We got to take care of some collateral damage. Guevara wondered why it was always everyone else who was collateral damage, but not MJF. MJF then looked at Santana and Ortiz and Hager and said, all right, time for a little conversation. Cameraman standing there, and he goes, Wardlow, can you take care of that real fast? And Wardlow sent the cameraman packing. So I don't know what's going to go down here other than Sammy Guevara's turning babyface. I mean, it's obvious. Then next up, we got a god-awful wedding. Because as wrestling weddings go, this is one of the worst I've seen. This was the most boringest segment I've watched maybe ever on Dynamite. I was just completely 100% bored. There was nothing good here at all. Miro making them WWE references, which I'm not mad about, actually. Usually when someone makes a WWE reference, they go, I've got to bring up WWE. But he didn't do it in a way that he's knocking WWE. He did it in a way of, if you know my history, you know I know how wrestling weddings are supposed to go because I've technically been part of 2 of them. So I didn't mind, in a way, the WWE references here, but everything was set up for the wedding here. And apparently this was a legit wedding. Like, these 2 are now officially married because they can't have a real COVID wedding. So they just said, screw it. We'll have a guy that's an ordained minister or whatever, an ordained minister. And that was Father James Mitchell. Perform the ceremony, and there we go. So Miro's down there as the best man. I guess, well, actually, I don't know. Kip was escorted down by Vicky Guerrero. I take it she wasn't the maid of honor. There was no maid of honor, I guess. And Jerry Lynn walked down Penelope Ford. Vonnie was getting emotional commentary. Father James Mitchell was presiding over the proceedings. And I go, uh-oh, who's getting shot? Because the last time you proceeded over a wedding, groom got shot. He called this the unholy matrimony, like he did the last time he did this. And he asked the bride and groom to share their own vows. Sabian objectified his bride in a weirdly sweet way. He said, quote, "You are beautiful on the inside, and damn, you are hot on the outside." Ford started to say her vows. He said how he's so good looking, and you have the biggest, and he stops. He's like, okay, everyone knows where you're getting with that. Move on. So after presenting the rings, Father James Mitchell went through some weird vows of his own. I guess he's like, you, Kip Sabian, take Penelope Ford, to have and to hold, to grope, for as long as you both shall live, and kayfabe everybody. He said, I do. He asked the same things to Penelope Ford. Well, she said, I do. And then before saying, I now pronounce you man and wife, he goes, does anybody object? And Miro immediately grabs the mic and goes, I've been in 2 wrestling weddings. I know how this goes. Don't ask that question. And so he goes, okay, move on. I now pronounce you man and wife. The newlyweds made out, tongue and all, before Miro began to give his toast. And this is where it really fell off the fucking rails. So he tells Chuck Taylor or Charles, hand out the champagne. And there was 1 extra glass. And he goes, I'm taking your glass too. You're on the clock. I'm going to drink it. So he drinks 2 glasses of champagne. And where was I? Just lost my spot. Miro said that he himself is Sabian's wedding present. He didn't get them a real one because he's the present. He's a mentor. He's strong, powerful, and always there for them. He then goes, but I have a big question. What the hell is that present over there, that big one? And Chuck Taylor goes, well, that's from me. And Miro goes, oh, it's for you? He goes, no, it's from me. And Miro goes, I know what this is. And he attacks the present and throws it out of the ring. And it was empty. It's an empty, big empty box. It was just a decoration, actually. And then for some reason, Miro gets on the mic and goes, what is love? And the crowd starts singing the song, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. And so Miro kind of like plays it up. He's like, oh, what is love? And then finally he just goes, all right, enough of that. We need to move on. Like someone probably said, you're wasting too much time. So Miro was playing along, and then he looks down and realizes, why am I tied and shackled to the bottom ropes? Well, Chuck Taylor basically cuffed him to the bottom rope. Chuck Taylor would then run in. He would knock down Kip Sabian, who knocked into Penelope Ford, who somewhat went face first into the cake. They all tried to go after Chuck here. Ford at one point jumped on Chuck's back and allowed Sabian to attack him, but then Orange Cassidy would pop out of the cake table. Charles uses the distraction to attack with a wine cooler, and Cassidy hit the beach break on Sabian. This is dumb. This was just utter garbage. Like, I hated every moment of this. It was horrible. Philip Johnson, please don't spam the chat. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight. So the show then goes to picture in picture, and nothing really happens. They like get out of the ring and clear it out. Then, interestingly enough, we come back from break, and Tony Schiavone says, we've got a little bit of an update from the Rhodes camp of things, as far as it pertains to Cody's challenge to Shaq. So they recap Shaquille O'Neal accepting the challenge for the mixed tag team match on Inside the NBA. He was asked, what's your wrestling move going to be? He said the Black Tornado. He knocked over some plexiglass. And then they gave the interesting announcement. The match will not be happening, as Cody stated, at AEW Revolution on March 7th. Instead, it will be taking place the Wednesday before on AEW Dynamite. Yes, Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet will be taking place on March 3rd. That's a Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. And we don't know 100% why this match is not taking place at the pay-per-view, but I have a theory. As of right now, the plan is to maybe do an NBA All-Star game. They don't know with COVID if they're going to actually do it or not. We do have NBA All-Star voting going on right now. And they stated that even if we don't have an All-Star game, players will be recognized throughout the season as All-Stars. But here's the thing. If we do get an NBA All-Star game, the game will be taking place on March 7th, the same night as AEW Revolution. So my theory here is that TNT felt that it was more important for Shaq to be at the All-Star game, or at least on the panel, commentary, whatever, for the All-Star game on the broadcast, than work the AEW show. So again, that hasn't been confirmed why he's not doing it, why this match is not taking place at the pay-per-view, but it's the logical explanation. All-Star game for the NBA takes precedence over an AEW Sunday night pay-per-view. So we'll see how that all does go, but this match will be taking place on March 3rd. Just a random Wednesday, the go-home show before the pay-per-view. And like I said earlier, I believe Jade and Red Velvet going to have to do most of this match because Shaq ain't going to be in there for more than like 30 seconds at a time. Because Shaq's all kinds of messed up from his NBA career. He can't do much. I know he wanted to fight Big Show a few years back, but I really don't think he could do much. So we'll see how this goes. Red Velvet's getting better. Like, she's progressing and getting better over time, but we don't know how much Jade can do. We've literally never seen her, at least I haven't ever seen her do anything. Like, let me do something really fast. Has she ever had a match? I mean, I can look it up. Because I know she's had interest from like WWE and stuff. She's got to have been somewhat within. Hold on. Jade Cargill ever actually worked a match? No. To my knowledge, she's only been training. According to her Wikipedia, she had a tryout with WWE in 2019. It was recommended by Mark Henry. Cargill described Henry as her mentor and trained by Heath Slater. He's also been training at QT Marshall and Cody's Nightmare Factory School. So, as far as I can tell, Jade has never had a match. Ever. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on, we had a lumberjack match that was also no good. I never once got into this match. Archer, the House of Fire early on, tossing Kingston right away. But Kingston made his way back into the ring before anyone could actually attack him, any of the lumberjacks, that is. Butcher and Blade tripped Archer and beat him down, but Archer fought them off. He tried to chokeslam Peter Avalon, one of the lumberjacks, but Avalon escaped, and Archer went headfirst into the ring post. Kingston then was sent to the outside next, but Billy Gunn sent him right back into the ring immediately. But Kingston still went after Butcher and Blade on the outside. So a brawl ensued with Archer as Archer dove onto a bunch of guys. And they're like, oh my God, is there nothing Lance Archer can do? He just dove right out there. And went to commercial break. As we came back, Archer hit a full Nelson bomb and landed some running offense. Bunny then ran into the ring and hopped on Archer's back. Archer was going to hit her with the blackout, but Kingston cut it off with a spinning back fist. Jake Roberts, for some random-ass reason that still makes no sense to me, kind of like, I guess you could say, did a running crossbody deal to Angelico. We kind of saw it at the last moment of the move. It was fucking weird. Jake don't need to be taking any bumps. Not at all. Blade then set up a table in the ring, but Bear Bronson and of Bear Country ran in and speared him through it. Like, I know these guys are, but if you only watch like AEW and WWE, you go, the fuck is this guy getting some shine in this match? Who the hell is Bear Country? Like, so random. They evened up the odds for Archer. Archer then hit a big Uranagi for a 2. Kingston went to the top rope, but Archer cut him off, hit the blackout, and picked up the victory. Too much happened in this match. They tried to do way too much. It was just too confusing most of the time. Shit didn't make sense, and it wasn't good. Was not a good match at all. Next up, we got FTR and Tully in some sort of a RV. FTR accused Jurassic Express of essentially paddling on them, trying to get them removed from the Battle Royal, which was successful. Blanchard got heated about all this and said, there's been too much conspiracy and stipulations against us. I was banned from the title match. Then I had to be handcuffed to a dinosaur. It's all just, it's wrong. What would it take to let the best tag team in the world just compete? Dak said that they weren't bad men, but sometimes they have to do bad men things. And it was revealed that they had kidnapped Marco Stunt. He was handcuffed to a chair and his mouth was duct taped shut. But we'll see where this goes. Eventually, it's going to lead to a full tag match with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy against FTR, because last time we got Marco and Jungle Boy. Next up, we got a video package hyping up Joey Janela, talking about his title match next week, where he'll be challenging for the TNT title. And speaking of next week's show, it was announced that, 3 things were announced for next week's show, which is very, very odd for AEW, because they usually announce like 4, 5, 6 things the week prior. But it was announced, of course, that the TNT title will be on the line as Darby Allin defends the title against Joey Janela. It was also revealed that the new number 1 contenders, MJF and Chris Jericho, will be taking on the Acclaimed. We also did learn that Cody will be teaming with Lee Johnson to take on the team of Pretty Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. Can't get more fucking random than that. Yeah, I guess it kind of plays off of Cody versus Peter Avalon, what was it, last week or the week before? But that's so random. Cody and Lee Johnson, who was apparently part of the Nightmare family. And then Peter Avalon's going to team with Cesar Bononi? I didn't even know he was actually still with AEW. I know he did a couple dark stuff, but I know he was still with AEW doing stuff for them. But just, yeah, only 3 things announced for next week's Dynamite, which is, again, very odd, as they usually have almost the full card announced before by the end of the current show. Typically, it's like, next week on AEW, and they give you like 90% of the card. This week, they gave you 9% of the card. Tried to make a joke there that didn't work. Probably about 30% of the card. So then we move on to the best thing of the night, the main event and the main event segment, post-match and all that stuff. Don Callis joined commentary for this match. Hawk and Phoenix got their Death Triangle music and entered from the stands with Moxley. But one of the first questions here is, what's that music that Omega and the Good Brothers came out to? A remix version of the Bullet Club theme? Holy crap. So, this match was great. Pac and Anderson traded forearms early. A Hurricane Rana frustrated Anderson, so he tagged in Gallows. Moxley tagged in and went right after the big man with forearms, but Gallows downed him with a right hand. Moxley avoided a sit-down splash and hit a regal knee, but Gallows kicked out right away. Anderson and Phoenix tagged in as Death Triangle worked over Anderson in their corner. The officials was distracted, so Omega grabbed the leg of Pac, and Gallows slammed him on the top rope. The heels then isolated Pac on their side of the ring until he hit a snap German suplex on Omega to reach Moxley for the tag. Moxley would hit a release suplex on Anderson for a 2 and follow it up with a plancha onto Gallows on the outside. During a commercial break, Moxley was met with a gun stun upon re-entering into the ring, allowing Omega and the Good Brothers to take control. Phoenix at one point, though, spiked Omega with a Hurricane Rana and dispatched Gallows with a kick before landing a springboard. Sorry about that, my phone went off. Before landing a springboard headbutt on Anderson. He and Pac hit Stereo Orihara moonsaults onto the Good Brothers before Phoenix landed a cutter on Omega for a 2. Omega then fought out of a Fire Thunder driver. And the two started trading shots as Omega and Phoenix went at it on the top rope. At one point, Gallows tagged in and hit a big boot for a 2. Pac tagged in and peppered Gallows with strikes, but Gallows knocked him out with boom. Pac then ran face first into Gallows in a thrust kick, and the heels beat him down yet again. At one point, Moxley tags in and went for a bulldog choke, but the Good Brothers ran interference. Moxley and Omega had an exchange where Omega hit a V-trigger, but Moxley sprung up with a huge lariat. Phoenix dispatched both Good Brothers with an absurd tope con heel. Omega then hit his paradigm shift, but Pac broke up Omega, hit his own version of the paradigm shift, but Pac broke up the pin attempt with a 450 splash. Anderson would tag in and went for the gun stun, but Moxley hit a gun stun of his own. Phoenix tagged in and hit a springboard moonsault press for a 2. Anderson then caught the follow-up and hit the spine buster. Good Brothers would hit the Magic Killer on Phoenix, and Omega sent Pac packing with the V-trigger to pick up the victory. So Omega and the Good Brothers do win here. Then, all hell breaks loose after the match. All 6 men start brawling. And this part made no sense. Lance Archer just fucking runs out for no reason. And they go, oh, Lance Archer has a lot of history with Omega and the Good Brothers. He's got history with all of these guys. And I go, he does? From where? From when? And that, fine, whatever. He sends the Good Brothers packing. Omega's laid out in the ring. Moxley slowly goes over to Omega when he gets attacked by a masked man from behind. The masked man lays out Moxley, to then reveal that it is none other than Kenta. Kenta is there wearing his Bullet Club shirt and then hits Moxley with the go to sleep. We do know that these two will be fighting for the New Japan United States Heavyweight Championship. I want to say, don't correct me on this, but I think the date's February 26th. 90% sure on that. But Kenta did appear tonight on AEW Dynamite, and now the big question is, they got to be working with New Japan. They have to be. I can see Tony Khan maybe letting Omega do the one match. The one match. And say, drop the title. You're no longer New Japan champion. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But for Kenta to show up tonight, that does lead me to believe that these three companies are working together, because the Impact pay-per-view, it was Bullet Club this, Bullet Club that. Bullet Club logos on everything. Then tonight, they're using a remixed version of the Bullet Club logo. They ain't just doing that to do that, because they've mentioned the name Bullet Club on AEW over the past couple of weeks. And in America, New Japan Pro Wrestling owns the trademark to the name Bullet Club. So these fuckers have been lying to us for I don't know how long. At least a couple months maybe. They're all working together. This ain't just coincidence, happened all of a sudden. Because we do know that all that stuff that went down last week on New Japan Strong with Moxley and Kenta was filmed back in December. Moxley's little promo that aired during Wrestle Kingdom filmed back in December. So since at least December, all these guys have been working together, it seems like. Now, we'll wait and see what more we find out. They keep saying, no, we're not, no, we're not, no, we're not. But it's blatantly obvious after tonight. All these guys are working together. Now, if it was a non-COVID times, This would be amazing because you see guys like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Good Brothers, Moxley flying all around this world back and forth every week to be on all these different shows. But because of COVID, none of these guys can actually go to Japan right now. So we'll see how that all does go. But a very interesting end to Dynamite after a so-so kind of just okay show. But with that, guys, that was AEW Dynamite. Let's check the polls to see what you guys thought of the show. As far as Twitch does go, 75% liked the show, 17% thought it was all right, and 8% didn't like it. As we end the poll here on YouTube, 55% liked Dynamite, 33% thought it was all right, and 11% did not like it. As we move on to talk about NXT, I want to remind you guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341 as we get the new poll going up right here. What do you think of tonight's NXT? Liked it. It was all right. Oops. End that really fast. Click the wrong button there. End poll. Come on. New poll. Liked it. It was all right. I didn't. All right, poll is live on YouTube. Throw it up on Twitch really fast. New poll. All right. As we start talking about NXT on the USA Network, we'll start it off with a Women's Dusty Cup match. This match did see the team of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking on Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. Kai and Gonzalez dominated early until a melee began. There was a little cat and mouse with Gonzalez giving chase. Caught Catanzaro, and Gonzalez press slammed Catanzaro back into the ring from the floor. The heels took over. Hot tag from Carter, though, saw her run a little wild. In keeping with her luchador background, Carter did a springboard into some sort of a lucha spot. As Carter was fighting with Gonzalez, Kai tried to trip her up, and Carter kicked her away. Going forward, the heels worked over Kaden Carter during a break. Catanzaro got in, and she got a near fall on Dakota Kai. Catanzaro climbed up the light grid and stood on it like a pillar, and then she leaped off with a dive. Carter took a combo move where Gonzalez pressed her into a GTS-like kick from Kai. Catanzaro then went for a Rana, but Gonzalez countered and delivered a pop-up choke slam. Gonzalez then covered her to pick up the victory. So with that, moving on to the next round, actually moving on to the finals of the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic at NXT TakeOver Vengeance, will be Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. We need to speak about this for a second. They gave us the name of TakeOver. WWE did announce today, before NXT went on the air, that the name for the NXT TakeOver on February 14th will be none other than NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. Now, it's a cool name. It's a play off the old Vengeance pay-per-view that ran from 2001 to 2007, and then they randomly brought back in 2011. But I think there was a missed opportunity. What is February 14th? Not just the Daytona 500 this year, but Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day should be St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But that's not what they're doing. It's okay. They do what they want. But WWE did announce that we will be getting NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day on February 14th. Going forward, announcers Tom Phillips and Beth Phoenix congratulated Wade Barrett on becoming a U.S. citizen. He finally got his citizenship. He announced that last week on social media. They presented him with a framed photo of Hacksaw Jim Duggan and an apple pie. And it was funny because, so Beth gives not Tom Phillips, Vic Joseph. I'm an idiot. He gives Vic Joseph the pie, and Vic goes to give it to Wade, and Wade's like, I can't eat that. Your thumb is in it. That was funny. I don't know if that was intentional or on accident, but if it was an accident, Wade played it up well. Going forward, Toni Storm was interviewed backstage about her upcoming title match at TakeOver. Storm said she's at the top of her game, and she would show everybody why this match is going to be her match. Basically said that I don't know why I have to do a triple threat when I'm the one that first challenged Aew. She's like, basically, Mercedes Martinez is dead weight, and she's just playing interference in this match. She said later on in the night when she has a match, she's going to show why she's going to win a TakeOver. See Edge backstage with William Regal, and it was kind of funny because Regal's got the brass knucks on a small little pedestal in his office, I guess. And Edge picks them up, and he's like, the same brass knucks, and he's like, points at his head, the ones you knocked me out with. That was funny. Next up, we got Austin Theory against Leon Ruff. Theory was bullying Ruff early on until Ruff fired up. Gargano tried to get involved, but Ruff super kicked him. I really like, because no offense, but you look at Leon Ruff and you go, oh, that's a guy that they're going to make just a comedy guy. He's just going to be a whatever guy that's used to help other guys get over by having a good match, but getting squashed all the time. But that's not what they do with Leon Ruff. Yes, he loses a lot, but they always make him look good. He just doesn't get dominated and squashed. He goes out there and has basically one-on-one, perfectly competitive matches. So Ruff hits a missile dropkick off the top, and Ruff decked Gargano as he tried to interfere again. Theory and Ruff both went down with shoulder tackles. Everybody was down selling when Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae came down to ringside. They were seemingly going to help their partners in the way, but Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, their next opponents in the Dusty Cup, would run down and run them off. The two teams then basically just ran to the back. Then I guess you could say spoofing Eddie Guerrero. Ruff sold like Gargano hit him. Referee kicked Gargano out of here as well, and Gargano was ordered to the back. Ruff then used a springboard cutter for a near fall. No avail, though, as Theory caught him on another dive. Theory dropped him on the barricade. Two would end up back in the ring, and Theory delivered the Mark Merrow TKO, which he calls the ATL, and pinned Leon Ruff to pick up the victory. Theory kept attacking Ruff after the match, gave him another ATL, and went to the outside, and he was looking for stuff, but Dexter Lumis snatched up the crutch. Like had crutches in his hand, he snatched up the crutch. During the attack by Lumis, Theory supposedly had some of his hair ripped out. Barrett on commentary said that he's been scalped. I'm like, okay. We then get a vignette hyping up El Legado del Fantasma. Another vignette then played that was actually very interesting. Told us basically the history of the woman that has been training Xia Li and Boa. Basically, her father was a king or a ruler or whatever you're called in China. And he had two kids, an oldest son and a younger daughter. The son, at one point, wanted to take over and be the ruler, so he killed his father, ruling as a tyrant. And the sister eventually knew that she had to stop her brother. And for some reason, magic overtook her, and there was a good side to her and a bad side to her, and the bad side helped her kill her brother. Well, the bad side has fully taken over, and that's where she is now. Also, we are to believe that she is 1,000 years old. I like the story and the mythology behind this, but I just hope this ain't no Alexa Bliss Fiend magic bullshit on NXT. Next up, we had Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, El Legado del Fantasma, taking on Lucha House Party, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado in a Dusty Cup match. Now, this match was good. Probably one of the better Dusty Cup matches we've seen so far. So Metalik. Basically, Metalik looks the best when he's working NXT because they let him go out there and do his freaking Metalik moves, his Mexican CMLL moves, his luchador stuff, more than he's allowed to do on the main roster. But anyways, the two teams were going back and forth, and it was pretty even until we hit a commercial break. After the commercial break, Metalik was a house of fire, and he flew around the ring. Dorado hit a springboard into a stunner for a 2 count. Joaquin Wilde countered the Lucha House Party with a springboard into a double DDT. Lucha House Party fought back, and they did some wild spot where Metalik hit a Super Frankensteiner to the floor. Dorado moonsaulted off the ring post to the floor. Blind tag by the bad guys, the heels. And they crashed Dorado with a combo leg sweep, kick leg sweep, and Mendoza pinned Dorado to advance into the next round, where they will be taking on MSK. MSK came out after and just tried to, I guess you could say, with their words, clown Legado del Fantasma and say, hey, we're going to beat you in the next round. We're cool, you're not. We want this shiny new toy. With a trophy, that is. Next up, Pete Dunne was joined by the NXT Tag Team Champions. Pete Dunne was joined by the NXT Tag Team Champions Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. They entered the ring for a promo. They had shown up earlier where Dunne's like, I want Finn Balor. And then the tag champs were like, you want Finn? We can make that happen. So all three guys are in the ring, and Dunne's basically like, I want Finn. Finn Balor, come out here. So Finn enters, cuts a promo on Dunne. Balor claimed that Dunne was hiding behind Burch and Lorcan. So Dunne said, okay, no, I'm not. You guys can leave. And so they leave. Dunne then said the first chance he gets, he's winning that title. Balor said, well, you got a chance coming to TakeOver. As we move on, Edge would come out. Edge would interrupt, and he gets between the two guys, and he's just like, man, I love the fire and passion I see in both of you. That's what I love about NXT. He said that a lot of times they focus on the E in WWE, but in NXT, they focus on the W. Basically, he said WWE focuses too much about entertainment, and NXT basically, Edge fucking said this. Too much entertainment on the main roster and not enough wrestling like we see in NXT. I don't know who gave him that line, but fuck. Edge said NXT helped him find his passion by watching guys like Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. He said Pete Dunne reminds him a lot of himself, but not in a good way. He said that he used his passion to win the Royal Rumble this past weekend, and that allows him to challenge for any title he wants, and he looked straight at Finn. Edge went on to put over both Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, said, I will be watching your match at TakeOver. Don't get me wrong on that, because depending on that outcome, and if that match is great, I may want to face one of you for that title at WrestleMania. Edge says if he hasn't made up his decision by TakeOver, that may help change his mind. Basically, Edge was teasing that, well, I could challenge for the NXT title. And I think he's going to do the same thing on SmackDown. Edge is going to be on SmackDown this week, and I think he's going to tease going after Roman as well. So then we're going to think, oh my God, Edge just told all three champions, I'm coming for you maybe. Who was he really going to pick? But I thought this segment was great, and it just built more intensity up for the Finn Balor Pete Dunne title match at NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. I think this match is going to be great. Speaking of Vengeance Day, another title match was announced as the NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano was informed by Mackenzie Mitchell that at TakeOver, he will in fact be defending his title against Kushida. Johnny freaked out and goes, oh, no, don't say it. You said the K word. Don't say the K word. Gargano could not believe this news, and he demanded, I need to go speak to Regal. I need to go to Regal's office. When Gargano got to Regal's office, found Kushida already there. Kushida told Gargano that Regal was busy. Gargano acted like he would come back later and then tried to sucker punch Kushida. A brawl ensued. Kushida kicked him in the arm, kind of like teasing he's going to soften up that arm before the pay-per-view. And there we go. Next up, we had Toni Storm with Jessie Kamea. Kamea came out with both Aaliyah and Robert Stone. Match would end in a no contest. Kamea, again, is part of the Robert Stone brand. And she got some offense in, but Toni Storm basically dominated this before Mercedes Martinez would come out and attack Toni Storm. Kamea also tried to fight off Martinez, but she was knocked out as well. Martinez was fighting with Storm when NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai would enter the scene. She sat on the turnbuckle with her title hanging from her shoulder. Shirai watched the two opponents go at it. Then Hit that moonsault to the floor. Champ stood tall. There we go. Next up, Kurt Stallion cut a promo that was just okay. I mean, he's new. I know he's been around for a while in wrestling, but cutting these kinds of promos, cool. It's new. Basically said, tonight was the biggest night of his life. He had recently won, which we didn't know about if you don't watch 205 Live, recently won a 5-way match to earn this title shot. And he said, place your bets. Because the Lone Star, Kurt Stallion, is going to become the champion. That I'll be taking this title back to Texas. Cool. Then we learned, got a video package where old Cameron Grimes gonna take it to the moon next week. He's coming back. Cameron Grimes returning to NXT next week. Oh boy, I'm excited. We got that Cruiserweight title match. It was Santos Escobar against Kurt Stallion. Thought the match went a little long, but there was an underlying story here. Yes, Kurt Stallion got a title shot, but this was more about Scarlett watching the match and Karrion Kross coming out afterwards. So this match was good for what it was. It played up the Scarlett stuff a little much, which kept distracting Santos Escobar to an extent. Stallion at one point was backdropped out of the ring during a commercial, and Escobar was back in control when the show returned. Escobar missed a charge, and Stallion made a comeback. He cleaned house, and then Stallion leapt through the ropes with a tope. Escobar at one point, though, caught him and delivered a phantom driver. And then he executed the double underhook neck breaker and pinned Stallion to retain the title. Well, after the match, Karrion Kross would come out, and I go, what? Like, they teased this last week, something with Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross, and then comes out this week. And then I don't get this. This doesn't make any sense to me. But Kross would come out, and he beat up Mendoza and Wilder ringside. Escobar stood in the ring, just not phased by anything. He just stood there and was like, you want to come at me next? Come at me next. And he's just standing there. So Kross gets into the ring. And he told Escobar, he's given him the gift of time to think about things. Kross then hinted the time will run out soon. But what is this? They're going to have a match? Karrion Kross can't challenge for the Cruiserweight title. He don't weigh no 205 or less. I don't know what this is rooted in, why he's got a problem with Santos Escobar. It's kind of like the Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher stuff. Why was Ciampa so pissed off at Thatcher early on? I don't get it. This makes no sense to me, but at least I believe we could probably get a good match out of it. Then, the Black History Month video, and Edge would appear once again. Edge was leaving the building. As he was, he asked if he was asked if he made his decision yet. He said he had not, when Kross would then confront Edge in the parking lot. Kross did not have his shirt on when he confronted Escobar in the ring, but he had one on here, so I assume he either changed or this was filmed at different times. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He confronted Edge with another tease of a possible match. This one was a possible match with Edge. Holy fucking yes. Edge versus Karrion Kross would be amazing. But it was just a tease. Kross basically told him to watch himself. Just a tease. But I hope this is more than a tease. I hope this is setting something up. Kross versus Edge. Give it to me. Give it to me. We then got our main event. It was Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher against the Undisputed Era's Adam Cole and Roderick Strong in a Dusty Cup quarterfinal match. This match was great. Great wrestling throughout the entire match. Undisputed Era would be in control a little bit during the beginning. Strong hit some suplexes on Thatcher, which led to Cole making the hot tag. He cleared house and hit a backstabber on Ciampa for a near fall. More exchanges, and Cole used the Ushigoroshi for another 2. Ciampa countered an attempt, did figure 4, and Cole applied it on Thatcher instead. Ciampa broke up the submission hold after Ciampa himself got out of the hold. Thatcher and Ciampa with a combo for the near fall. Strong escaped the clutches and hit an Olympic slam. They call it the angle slam. Cole then tagged back in and got a near fall on Ciampa. Thatcher would save Ciampa here, but Thatcher would get rocked by Cole with a super kick. Strong Then gave Thatcher a backbreaker on the barricade. Back in the ring, Ciampa delivered the Willow's bell to Cole and pinned him to advance in the tournament. Now, when this match started, I go, okay, Yui making it to the finals. But I can see it going either way, and it did go the way that I didn't have on my bracket. So, Ciampa, Thatcher, make it up to the next round. Thatcher and Ciampa will now move on to take on the Grizzled Young Veterans in the semifinals. If I had to guess now, based off of what we know, Ciampa and Thatcher win, MSK win, and there's your finals. Ciampa and Thatcher versus MSK, which would be a super fun match because it's two different styles clashing, but I think these guys can do it well. But with that, guys, that was NXT. Let's check out your polls and see what you guys thought of tonight's NXT on Twitter. No, I didn't do a Twitter poll. I did a Twitch poll. On Twitch, 57% liked NXT. 29 thought it was all right, and 14 did not like it. As far as YouTube does go, 60% liked it, 25% didn't, and 25% thought it was all right, and 14 didn't. Now I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you thought of tonight's show. You can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat and scrolling across the screen. First question here says, your thoughts on the tag team match of Shaquille O'Neal, Jade. I already talked about that. I think Jade and Red Velvet are going to have to do the brunt of the match because Shaq can't do much. At least I don't think he can. Person says, I want Toni Storm to win the NXT title, but not a takeover. It should be around Mania week. Why does it matter? She wins the title, she wins the title. If she doesn't win at the pay-per-view, a takeover, why should she get another shot that soon? That's the thing. Says commentary team did not sound shocked or confused when Kenta showed up. And who do you think will win the Men's Dusty Classic? MSK. Since the tag team champions on NXT are heels, MSK wins the Dusty Classic. Also, I thought they did seem a little shocked by Kenta. Maybe they could have played it up more, but I don't know. First says Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa and the main event were amazing matches. I wouldn't say amazing for Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. First says, do you see UE getting called up after their Dusty Cup loss? Maybe. I don't know. I've been hearing Adam Cole and UE up for a year and a half now. Who knows? This person says, dude, I thought it was cool to see Edge on NXT. Honestly, don't know how I feel about him going after the NXT Championship. He's not. The plan right now is Edge versus Roman. Not NXT related, but since Damian Priest debuted on Raw, will we see Rhea Ripley debuting on this SmackDown, and who should her? So I don't know where Rhea's going. Apparently, that decision has not been made, and she is not scheduled to be at SmackDown.